My name is Theodore Cottingham, School of Creation in session, with the members who will be them. And I thank you for those of you who have signed up, subscribed on my YouTube channel, the school channel. Subscribed also to the email list on my website at theodorcottingham.com. And also to you, my friends, who have chosen to choose you to be in this school, a member of this school, and even subscribe to the monthly student subscription membership. Thank you. I welcome you. And now we shall do a new deed, or shall we become a new person? Warped no more by time, space, or gravity. Waves of energy, energetic waves. People who don't know what they're talking about, and people who do support their theories with scientific evidence to the contrary of what may be possible. But what is possible in this school? This is the school of creation. For you to create. You, the creator of. Being you, bringing Jesus alive. No more holding to the concept of separation, so that you no more separate your life from what so many think, so many thought Jesus is, Jesus was, or believe he's to do. You see, we are moving from a model of this, showing you a picture here, where let's interpret this picture. See, in the top center of Jesus with radiating light and everyone sitting around, listening, whether you call it worshiping or whatever. But see, we are moving from the paradigm of sitting still to the paradigm of becoming love in two shoes. So that the Jesus story is no more the story about a man that lived long ago, a man that was so special, a man that was born of a virgin, a man that had special power, a man that we couldn't be like if we tried, because he was so preordained to be that. Even though in John 14:12, we have a recording that Jesus said, if you believe in me, you will do all the works I do and greater. But I suggest to you that verse is incongruent with the way we've been taught, the way most people, especially Christians, hold who Jesus is. Well, you can't do the things that Jesus did because you're human, and he was a God-man, a man-God, or just God. But we don't look at him as an equal. Friends, I suggest to you that you're equal. He's equal. He was a man. And there's another way to understand the message of Jesus so that you are not powerless. And in so doing, bringing Jesus alive. So it's no longer, if you will, worshiping one who lived and died. Jesus is no more dead. But it's no longer that you're worshiping a spirit man, a spiritual being. You're no longer in worship at all. You're beginning to understand how to do John 14:12, how to become John 3:8. The wind blows where it will. You don't know where it comes or where it goes. So is everyone who is born of the Spirit. We are learning how to become born of the Spirit, born again, born anew. What? Born anew what? A new creation. What kind of creation? A creation that in fact does all the things that Jesus did and more. Walking on the earth today in shoes, dresses, high heels, hot pants, slacks, tight, loose, pants, camouflaged, hats, turbans, tattoos. You see, none of the appearance matters because we're looking at the heart. Not your blood pumping muscle, but the heart of your mind. The center, the command center, the control center, the throne of your mind. And we're moving from this model of worshiping Jesus into the message of the paradigm of power. You see, up to this point, we've been taught we become a new creation by saying a sinner's prayer, a little prayer, going to church, sitting on a pew, studying the Bible, going to a Bible study, reading a commentary, going to Sunday school. But it's powerless. We have not had any power, have we? No, none, to effectuate society, culture, a country, a community. Do any of the things that Jesus did? You know, there's a current definition that's become pretty common of may sound harsh. What is insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, expecting a different result. But that's what we've done year after year after year after year, pledging our lives, sitting in Bible studies year after year after year, read the Bible in 1 year, go through it this year, next year, every year. I got me a bigger cup. We're moving from a paradigm of everybody sitting around praying, worshiping, and being powerless, attributing all of our power to a God, a story, powering our separation from the message. To make disciples? I'm not interested in making disciples. Disciple? What's a disciple? I don't know. A learner? A follower. You can say there's a Bible verse where Jesus supposedly said, "Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men," or some such. But if that's true, if he wanted followers, just like me, though I don't want followers, if you follow me, you can follow me for a while, but I don't want you to follow me for long. I want you to do what I do and more. Way more than I do. How much more? Oh, by golly, by gee. Well, Jesus the pattern. So I wrote a book, 300 pages. It's on my website. And it's part of the school. This is school. This is not entertainment. This is life. This is life to bring you into the paradigm of power so you are no longer powerless. You are no longer satisfied to sit on a pew. You're interested in doing the stuff. Be where the action is, in on the action. Are you willing to actionate you? I hope so. This is why I sit here. This is why I press the red button, go live. This is why I have a school. This is why I get up in the morning. This is the paradigm of now, not the paradigm of the past. You can no longer be a spectator. You are no longer sidelined. You're the A team. You're being called off the bench. Coming to the game. It's more than a game, isn't it? This is where everyone becomes. This is where everyone operationalizes the message and the life of the model, the pattern, the man many call Jesus. Where you begin to realize, Jesus said, you are the light of the world. You are the light of the world. Let's shine a little more light. And let's enjoy doing it. Without fear. So if you're willing to do this, if you're interested in doing it, it takes time, effort, energy, money, tuition, supplies, textbook. I began channeling 21 years ago. I was in McBurney Chapel, a First Methodist church in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Early 2003. And I had been going for a little while, for an hour each day, as was my custom for years, in different places. I had only begun going there to pray very, very recently. Pardon. And one morning I had taken a break and I'd walked down the hall, came back, got some water, walked in the little chapel, and before I sat down, the way that I would phrase it back then, I felt like God spoke to me ever so clearly. Will you give me your morning? Will you give me your mornings? It was so evident. It was so clear. Literally, folks, literally, my expression, my eyes, my mouth, I put my hand on my forehead. And I remember thinking, my mornings, and of course, suddenly flooded with questions. What does that mean? How many hours is that? What time? That affects my income. Oh my gosh. my mornings. And literally, I went and laid down on the first pew. I laid down. Because at that moment, I couldn't take it in. I couldn't comprehend. And yet I had absolutely no question whatsoever that love was asking me to commit my mornings. So, of course, I finally sat up, got up, then began to process that information. And of course, I thought, well, is that 5 days a week? Or is that 6? Is that 7 days a week? What hours? Is that 9 to 12? 8 to 12? What is my morning? And like so many times later that I learned, I chose. Those decisions were up to me. You see, if you come into the paradigm of power, if you bring the life of Jesus alive to this world, you first. If you bring the life of Jesus alive, it's a leadership process. There's no reclusiveness. There's no sitting in the shadows. There's no studying any textbook, whether it's the Bible or not, or the one I wrote, over and 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 over. No. This is the time for you to pick up your pen. This is a leadership course. This is leadership school. This is the school of creation. This is for you to come alive. For you to come alive in ways you've never been alive. You begin to experience a confidence in who you are, so that when you walk in some unfamiliar room with a bunch of people, you're no longer timid. You become no longer inhibited to walk up and meet anyone and say hi. And automatically begin communicating with them without effort. Without any effort. Why no effort? Because it's who you are. You're no longer putting forth an effort to be accepted. You're no longer trying to be somebody's friend. You're no longer trying to be God's friend. You're no longer trying to be worthy to be acceptable. You're just being you. You? Yes, the real you. The real you. The real you that has no lack. The real you that begins a learning system that is not limited to a brick and mortar campus, even though I may have 1 or 2 or 3 or more. Right now, I share with you this way. For you to come into the paradigm of power so that you bring Jesus alive in ways that, my friend, are no longer about him. It's about you. Betty, Sue, Ralph, Oscar, Igor, Yvette, Karen, Tabitha, whatever your name is. Jimmy, Sue, Barbara, Grace. You see, the message is about you. The message of Jesus was for you. Not just to do the things he did, but to become who he was. He had to learn just like anyone else. He was born, whether it was a virgin or not, is not the issue. I've dealt with that. As a baby, he didn't know who his parents. He didn't know anything. He didn't know the language. He didn't know. the protocols. When he was born, he wet and pooped just like everybody else. He learned. And I suggest to you there's a learning system, and it's coming from within. Religion, I suggest to you, may have feared this more than anything else, more than the devil itself, if you think there is one, because they can't control it. You see, when you begin to learn from God directly, or if you've listened much, I've differentiated God from God, God from love. Control-based love versus unconditional love. When you begin to be taught by an unconditional love and encounter love, where you begin to release it, and you begin to learn to let thoughts emerge in you, that you begin to not be afraid of. You're ready to learn. But coming into that moment where you pierce the veil, where you flip the switch, you pierce the veil, you pull down the veil that has separated you from the man, the specialness. Christianity may, in fact, introduce a lot of people to Jesus, but in so doing, they separate you from him. They separate you from it. They separate you from the message. And they teach you to worship from afar at the base of the mountain and let them go in to teach you. Like so many people, Moses, you go up for us. Moses, you go here. God, because the mountain is rumbling, smoke coming out, and we're afraid. So the basis of Christianity is all religion is fear, fear-based. But we're moving past all the fear-mongering done by the God sellers, those who want to sell us a God story, keep us in church, no matter how sincere they are. I was sincere. I taught Christianity. I was immersed in it. I grew up in it. I taught it. But somehow, I knew there was more. When I was at the University of South Carolina getting my bachelor's degree, I did my share of what we used to call partying. Party school. Party. I partied. And yet somehow, every night before I'd go to bed, I'd kneel down beside my bed and raise both hands and say, Jesus, I love you 7 times. I never heard anybody suggest that to me that I recall. I just did it, and I did it for over 25 years. My words were directed to Jesus. But my heart was heard by unconditional love. And unconditional love began to disturb the water. Let me know there was more. Since there was more to the story. When I was 9, I had an experience where an angel came to me. And I've told that story in some detail several times. So I won't try to tell all those details again. An angel appeared to me. Was I praying? No, I was making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. An angel appeared in the kitchen, halfway between the floor and the ceiling. I was terrified. The angel finally spoke and said, "Tell others about Jesus." And then it was gone. Actually, a very short time after that, my mom and dad got home. They'd been out, and I was still crying. I was terrified. I had no precedent for that. But I was not terrified in fear as much as, I don't know. Anyway, I told my mom, and she wrote it down in her Bible. So I know what day that was. I've always said I was 10, but actually when I found that not too long ago, and it was in April. So I was actually almost 10 when that occurred. Well, for years, I thought that meant I was called to preach. That was the terminology, right? So I was torn between wanting to preach and wanting to party. I didn't want to be a preacher. I don't know if my dad ever made. I don't know if my dad was ever paid more than $25 a week. But my dad was a great man. And I've talked about my mom and my dad. We have an opportunity. You see, as I wanted to. So I've had a few events in my life, and later, when Oral Roberts University opened up an MBA program, I was in the first class. Quite a story about that, but I was in the first class. One speaker was Catherine Kuhlman. While I was there, she only came one time. And the way I describe it, to me, Catherine Kuhlman preached a one-point sermon. No, I could never forget it. The one point was a question: will you pay the price? You know, I can say there's a price to walk in power. But at this moment, I think of rephrasing that. There is a price to walk in unconditional love. Because to walk in unconditional love, you choose to begin to unlearn a lot of things that have cast burdens on you. Heavy burdens to achieve, to work, be a workman worthy, to strive. But this is not a lesson on unconditional love. This is a lesson I'm about to wind up here at the moment. Maybe part 2 will be after. Later today. I'm talking about bringing Jesus alive. I bring Jesus alive. Who am I? I am the one who chooses me in your mirror. The one in your mirror. That's the one in the mirror. Your mirror, who's going to bring Jesus alive if Jesus comes alive. This cannot be a theory or a philosophy or a psychology or a religious experience that you seem to accept for a moment, no matter how much you wept and kind of catharsis you seem to have experienced at a moment, or even a miracle that changed your life. There's more to the story. This is where you become. You become who he is in your shoes that looks like you. This is no longer about patriarchy and patriarchy with no more rule. What love is. Over and over and over, I've talked about creating the consciousness. The consciousness of what? I would have said years ago, the consciousness of God. Now I qualify it. The consciousness of unconditional love. The consciousness of creating. The consciousness of a creator. A creator, the creator. The creator, a creator. Does it make a difference, or are you equal? Are you willing to become conscious, aware, conscious? Will you wake up? Or will you come out of the grave? The grave of what? Your flesh. So you're no longer walking around going to everybody else's funeral, the dead burying the dead. The dead burying the dead? What does that mean? Dead in their sins, dead in their separation. Dead, no works. You didn't know it was you. You are the one called. I ask you to see a different story. You think he was born of a virgin? Regardless, that's another story. But I'm asking you to be born of a virgin, so that the second death no more envelops you, and you no longer submit to it. How do you do that? You begin to learn who you are. And in learning who you are, you begin to be willing to experience a system of education, hence a school call for when I begin to go my mornings. So I finally decided, give God my mornings. So I started going 8 to 12, 5 days a week. That's what I chose. That's what I decided. And that's what I did for a long time. So there are many stories. And I began to channel. But back then, 21 years ago, it was like I was afraid of the term. Oh, that's a new age term. Channel? Am I prophesying? No, I'm just simply being taught. I'm picking up my pen, writing on a yellow tablet. The words as they come to me. And you can do the same. So how did I choose the title of this lesson? I'm bringing Jesus to life. You can interpret that different ways, can't you? Sure can. The phrase, day before yesterday, I think it was. Just a thought. Just like a simple thought, just like you have a thought. I'm going to call Joe or Betty, or I'm going to write an email. I'm going to subscribe. I'm going to do this thing, or I'm not. So many times, perfect love, perfect unconditional love communicates with you, my friend, where you have just thought it was you. You thought it was part of your intelligence, your cognitive power, your good looks, being swaven to boner. You used your power to separate because, of course, you know good from evil, don't you? You know good from evil, of course. We know good from evil because we ate the fruit. We ate the apple. It wasn't a historical, one-time event back yonder. It's every day, every moment. You eat the apple or you don't. Of course, we know good from evil. We know God. We know there's a devil. We know God. We this, that, and the other. And all of that separates us from who we are. My friend, let us go forward and no longer be worshiping Jesus or a religion, a story, no matter how much we have experienced, realizing we have experienced and feel corroborated in what we have been taught to believe because we are creators and we have power. And if we want to believe that, we empower our own belief to experience those emotions. You're quite powerful, my friend. And I ask you to bring Jesus to life. Not bring Jesus alive, not as a flesh man, but the story, the life, the essence, the consciousness in you. By learning to be it. It's not a fast food operation. I love you. I go for now. I'm bringing Jesus to life, and I'm asking you to bring Jesus to life. I'm asking you to be love in your two shoes. Unconditional love, and have fun in the process so that you're not burdened down with heavy burdens. You're the light of the world, and I love you. My name is Theodore Cottingham with the School of Creation. I'm in Eureka Springs. I'm online. I'm everywhere I want to be because I am my word. I am this message. This is what I am taught. I am taught to be a member of I am, equal with I am. That I am, I used to call God. Now I call it unconditional love, is a race of many light beings operating with a consciousness of one, the temple not made with hands. I invite you into this day to begin to no more abdicate your throne, your power, your position, your opportunity to bring alive the reality of perfect love who looks just like you. I love you. I go now. Share these words. Record them. Listen to them. Outline them. Write what you think about them. Summarize them. Share them with someone. Speak to I am. Share with I am. Pour out your heart. Pick up your pen. I'm not your Savior, and I don't have all the answers. I'm a simple man in Eureka Springs that's walked through a path I had no precedent for whatsoever, except to see Jesus the pattern and become a teacher who teaches what I teach this way. I love you. I invite you again. Invite other people. You see, if you're going to lead, you're going to learn. If you're going to learn in this school, you're going to learn to lead. To learn to lead, you do things you've never done. Some of the things you're afraid to do. You're going to learn to write papers. Yep. Necessity. You are creating new neural pathways of light. You're beginning to walk in leadership. You're going to have to learn to write a several-page paper, a 300, 500-word paper. You can do it. Pierce the veil of inability, the veil of unworthiness, the veil of ignorance, the veil of not knowing you can do it. You have no idea what you can do and what's possible. But I'm telling you, I'm leading you, I'm guiding you, I'm sharing with you, I'm teaching with you. And maybe I can help for a while, where maybe some of my teaching can help you on this journey, give you some training wheels to help you ride with some momentum for a while until you take those training wheels off. Because I won't let you live the rest of your life with these training wheels from me. Go do the things I do? No, go do the things Jesus did and more. And more, not what Jesus did then alone, but what the message is now. Using technology, all technology. No longer afraid of the veil, no longer afraid of tattoos and turbans and people of other labels. My love is in action. And I love you. I go. See you later. Share these words. Outline them. Make a little micro course, a mini course. Decide to share. Decide to teach. Teach your course online, whether anybody's there and listens or not. Do you know how many years I posted my videos online? You can look at my YouTube channel now, and there's over 3,000 subscribers to the YouTube channel. This time last year, after 20 years, this is just one metric, but after 20 years, I had 67. So it's gone from 67 to about 3,100 this year. My friend, lead. This is not about me. This is about you. To choose you, not just to come into your power, but to develop your love. And love is not powerless. Love is not fragile. Truth is not delicate. Truth invites examination. Do your due diligence. Come into love and be it. My name is Theodore Cottingham with the School of Love, the School of Creation. And I love you. Love each other. Share the message. Share the website. Share the words. Share the Meonics Covenant. Make recordings. Do what only you can do to be who only you can be, who you really, really are. See you later. I love you. I love you. I love you all. Good day. Subscribe. 3 places, if you will. At least 2. I love you. See you later. Good day.